Welcome to the very first episode of Happy Hour Unfiltered. We are so excited that you're here, whether you're sipping coffee, a margarita, or just trying to survive the day. You have found your right people.
I'm Maddie.
And I'm Morgan.
And here we go on this wild journey, baby.
Mind you, it's like the first Thursday night Maddie and I have ever had without kids in the last...
How long have I lived here?
August.
Since August.
Okay,
so
yeah.
we are ready for this margarita.
Yeah, we have not had a kid-free night. My kids are out of town for the weekend with my in-laws. My husband's actually on his way home, and if he walks in on this, I'm going to be mortified.
It's okay.
And Maddie doesn't have her glasses on.
Oh. Well, today we're going to tell the story of how me and Morgan met, just to kind of start it off so you guys can get like a good vibe of who we are. And then I think we're going to try and end with some rapid fire questions about each other, like answering each other's personalities. And then where this podcast goes, we don't know, but we are so excited just to see what happens.
Mind you, this stuff all got delivered literally this morning, so.
Yeah, we're really fresh into this. I walked in with these glasses because if there's one thing Morgan can't stand about me is I love house music and EDM. And so lately she's been forgetting her headphones when we go to the gym. So she's been using one of my pods and she was like, wow, I feel like I'm in Tokyo techno.
But it's like so slow. It's
Go-kart
not even
racing.
like
Morgan only listens to Sexy Red. She likes a good bootylicious pump.
Yeah, one thing you guys will learn about me is I do love like a good rap song, and I mean, I take pride in how well I can rap.
I've never met a white girl that can rap like Morgan. It's quite literally the most impressive thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, so anyways.
Should we get into how we met?
Okay, so I met Maddie in probably like February of 2013. It had to have been because I met Cole in December.
Yeah.
And we probably like hung out for the first time right after that.
I think it was it had to have been like the first week of February because I had just gotten my 16th, like it was my 16th birthday because I remember I had just gotten my driver's license.
Did we have a party at your house or no?
Oh yeah.
I remember being on the tennis courts at your house.
Yeah, we did have my 16th birthday party on the tennis courts. So yeah.
So
my dad hid in the back corner while we watched Paranormal Activity 25. I don't remember which episode it was.
That feels like so long ago, but I met Maddie and Cole both in the same year. And it's just so crazy to think back of all of like the years we've gone through with each other. And Maddie was in my wedding. She lives with me now. We do consider ourselves sister wives because we spend
quite literally every single night together. Yep.
But yeah, we met through mutual friends and just connected over the years. I dragged her into doing Beachbody with me, which is...
Wait, we're skipping a big part of this.
What?
We got to go back to how we met. So, back it up. So I grew up in Petaluma, California. Morgan grew up in Santa Rosa, California. So if you know Sonoma County, it's not huge, but it's not small. So we definitely went to like different high schools. I'm a year older than you, year and a half. And me and Cole are the same grade, and then Morgan and this other mutual friend that we had were in the same grade, bestest of friends. I was friends with someone that was in the motocross scene with Cole, Morgan's husband, and so my friend was dating this girl that was friends with Morgan, so it was like this whole triangle, and me and Morgan just kind of like vibed off each other. And I'll never forget though when I came to your house and I was dating, or I don't even know if I call it dating, but I was with this really crazy man. And sorry, Mom, please don't listen to all of this. But
I have the worst story of something he told me that night.
Oh God, I can't
never unhear it.
Okay. And so I drove over to Morgan's house and I pull up. Mind you, I'm driving a green Honda Pilot. It's a very non-intimidating car. But I pull up with this guy and then Morgan and this friend, and Morgan's dad interrogated me. He was like, how long have you had your license? I'm like, 1 week, sir. I can definitely drive people. And we went on this random hike.
We did. A lot of weird things happened on that hike. That could be a story for another day.
This man that I was talking to at this time's contact photo is still a photo from that hike.
Oh my God. No, literally the most terrifying thing. I don't know why we were talking about this with this man, but he had told me a story about... He was
a boy. Let's bring it back.
He was
a
also,
boy.
Yeah, we were like 16. We've known each other since
you were
I was 15.
I was 16.
Yeah. So I meet this boy, first time ever meeting him, like no background about him. And he tells me a story about how he was doing anal with this girl and he turned her butthole inside out and had to take her to the hospital. And I, to this day, have never done anal because I'm so scared of that story. And that's the story he told me. It could have been a lie. I mean, I really...
Honestly, knowing him probably was a lie.
Yeah, hopefully he never watches this, but I could see it.
Anyways, long story short, eventually Morgan starts dating Cole. And I'll never forget this either because it was the day that, like, I really misbehaved. My mom was I think she's never been more mad at me in my entire life. And, like, if there's one thing, like, I hate making my mom mad. So this was really bad. And I was in the back of a cop car.
What?
Because me and my friends were in the hot tub, met up with some other guys outside of her house and, like, had drank a beer. And the neighbors called the cops and they decided that they were going to breathalyze us. It was so crazy.
I've never heard this story.
Yeah.
This is the day we met?
No. This is when you and Cole started dating.
Oh.
And so I got breathalyzed back of the cop car. My mom's like, she's absolutely coming home. So I got my phone taken away for the first time and the only time in my life. Cause again, I'm terrified of my mother. And I remember, like, looking on my iPad because I knew, like, they were supposed to start dating soon.
Oh.
And Cole showed up to Cardinal Newman and asked Morgan to be his girlfriend.
He did.
And I remember having to double tap on my iPad because that was the only way I could see this. But I was so invested.
Oh my God.
And to this day, they're still together.
Yeah, never broken up one time.
But that friend is now out of the picture. And that really was a rift in their relationship. Yeah. But here I am still in your life.
Somehow,
some way.
When Cole showed up to ask me to be his girlfriend, he had just left the Santa Rosa Mall and he bought a plaid shirt because I was touring at, like, a private school. I was shadowing there. So I was, like, just there visiting for the day, but he could only come to Santa Rosa on Mondays because he used to race Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Fridays were always, like, for the weekends for racing. So he knew I was shadowing there this day. He went into the lunch line and found me and literally asked me out. I was so shocked that he was there. And literally I have to show a picture. Like, he had plaid shorts on.
He had,
and
like, gel spiked hair.
Plaid collared shirt, plaid on plaid. And I had my big old, like, rhinestone belt buckle, blue plaid shirt, and
probably
my Miss Me's. Oh, literally. No, I had them on for sure. And he asked me out. And honestly, like, looking back, that was the second time he had asked me out because the first time he asked me out was at Nick's birthday party in like April. And then he asked me out again in May. And so the second time I said yes. And so now here we are almost 13 years later or something.
And 2 children.
And a house and dogs and all of the things.
So yeah, that's kind of like how I feel like our relationship started. And then it was a little rocky because of this mutual friend that brought us together. Like, it was like picking sides, and I feel like we just
hard for a lot of years.
Yeah, and it was very difficult, but like I feel like in the end we always chose each other.
Yeah. Well, and now look at us.
I know, sister wives, here we are. But I feel like we had like a few years where we like didn't talk.
I agree. Like, I feel like maybe like the end of high school, like we were always, I feel like, in group messages.
Yeah.
Like, we were always.
Maddie
was the hoe bag of the friend group.
You can't call me a hoe bag.
Okay, Maddie was the friend that the boys loved.
And Morgan hated it. So Morgan deleted me off Cole's Snapchat. I was in a group message with probably 15 guys and just me. And when you're dating somebody in the group chat, I'm sure you're not really fond of the one girl in the group chat. And that was me.
Yeah, that was Maddie. So yeah, there was probably a good couple of years we didn't really talk much.
But then Morgan slid into the DMs with a, "Hey girl."
Oh my God, how funny would it be to go back in our DMs and like,
"Hey
try
girl,
to find
I'm doing Beachbody. Do you want to join my 21-day challenge?"
And you know what?
You probably,
she did.
all of you on here watching, have gotten a "Hey girl" message from either of us, because we were a part of Beachbody for like 7 years, and I feel like that really made us really close. I feel like that's why I was in your wedding, is because of all those years.
Yeah, after high school, I don't know, you were in Oregon.
Yeah.
And I was still in California. And was it your senior year when I went up there to visit?
I don't know, junior or senior year. She drove up from California with
Chevy.
With Chevy to Oregon.
Right? Am I Tacoma?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we drove up there. We went to a Beachbody conference.
Morgan had a fake ID and got into the bars. Monmouth, let's go.
We did. We had fun. But I feel like after that, like, I don't even know what year that would have been. Nin-
2018.
16.
You got married in what year? 2019.
19.
So that was probably 2018, 2019. And
And
then
then-
we went on a beach body trip.
Yeah.
Should we get into the beach trip?
No, let's do Beachbody as like a separate one
Okay.
because there's so many
True.
things and years and
Yeah, true.
it being ended now that we could like talk about.
Okay.
But other than like how we met,
I mean, I feel like after, like, I graduated, I straight up moved to Arizona within, like, I graduated a month back in California, and then I moved to Arizona in 2019 with my ex, and I have been here for 5 years now,
yeah.
and we didn't really see each other a ton, but we, like,
I feel
always,
like we talked a lot and we were like, with Beachbody, we were always on like the trips and everything
Yeah.
like that. So we were always with each other. Like,
and then anytime I was back in Sonoma County, I'd make the trek to Ukiah a couple times. It's not close.
no,
It's not close.
So that's okay.
And then you came to Scottsdale.
Yeah, and literally best decision we've ever made.
When did you guys officially move?
My birthday next month is 1 year,
Yeah.
March 16th.
And honestly, when I didn't know you guys were like truly gonna move, like they have a full blown business still in California, so like it is kind of crazy that you actually live here full time, and then us living together has
Yeah.
really panned out in my favor, if I do say so myself.
I was like, Maddie, you could come live with me. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Best
And
thing that's
now-
ever happened.
Yeah. And now if you ask Chi-Chi, Morgan's daughter, Maddie's house
Maddie?
is Maddie's house is the casita attached to their house, but it's literally amazing. I have my own little private entrance that gets bombarded by little kids all the time. And
Or knocking horses on their stalls next door.
yeah, or Morgan deciding to tap on my window at like 9 something at night and scare the bejesus out of me.
Well, we were so excited to order our podcast stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to go out there really quick and show her what we should order. And then we
Yeah.
were like, you know what? Fuck it. We're never going to do this any other time.
So
So
here we are.
We're going to do like little intros just about like who we are and kind of like background, I guess. Like Maddie said, I'm from Santa Rosa, California. I grew up there my whole life. After graduating from high school, well, let me backtrack actually. Cole and I started dating my sophomore year of high school, and I pretty much gave up on like all sports and anything to chase this boy every weekend. Like he used to race professional motocross, so like every weekend I wanted to be at the track or like hanging out with him. Cole and I only got to see each other on Mondays. So Mondays were like our day to see each other, and then throughout the week and the weekends, for a long time my dad didn't let me go like to the track, and his parents like
Because what do they call them? Moto girls or
moto girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
dirt chaser?
There was just like a lot of
I don't know. I feel like you were really young, and
We were
so
really young.
your parents were like, "What the heck are you doing with your life for this boy?"
yeah. So anyways, graduated high school, and Cole had moved to Southern California. We were living in Menifee, and I literally packed up my car. I graduated in May. I packed up my car in June, and I literally left to go live with him. We lived down there for about a year and a half. And then Cole decided he wanted to quit racing, go work for his dad. So he ended up moving back to Northern California, and I was kind of stuck down there for a few weeks because I still had to finish out my job. I had learned how to do lashes, and I had just taken over this lady's full clientele. She was moving out of state, and she was like, hey, like you seem like young, like you want to learn how to do something. And I was like, you know what? I never thought I would be in the beauty industry. Like I am like the least beauty girl. Like I never cared about makeup or hair or any of the things.
She's a natural beaut.
I just never thought that like I would be in the like aesthetics industry. And so she taught me how to do lashes, and I moved back to Northern California, and I talked to my parents. And at the time, one of our like family friends was the administrator at the beauty college in the town that we lived in. And so I ended up going to the esthetician program. I did that for 6 months. I lived back and forth with my parents and with Cole and Ukiah. We were living with his parents in their like little guest house. So I'd go up there after school I don't even remember what my schedule was, like after every Thursday, and I'd be there till the next Tuesday. And then Tuesday through Thursday, I'd go stay with my parents. So we did that. I think I graduated there in 2018. Cole and I guess I'm kind of skipping so many big things, but basically I'm an esthetician. Back to 2017, after Cole quit racing, he proposed in December of 2017. So we were engaged during this whole time, and I was like, okay, I need to figure out what I want to do with my life, all of the things. And yeah, I went to school, graduated, moved up to Ukiah with him full time. we got married in 2019. We bought a house in 2019, like July of 2019 after we got married. We lived there for a few years. There
were some ragers.
In October, oh my God, we used to party so hard. I think that's why I hate partying so much now, is because I just like have partying PTSD from how often we used to party.
And I still like to party.
Yep.
I'm really trying. Sometimes there's children involved, but you know,
we took the kids to Buffalo Chip the other night.
Yeah, we
in
did.
Cave Creek. If you've ever been to Cave Creek, Arizona, you have to go to the Buffalo Chip.
Or if you ever come to Arizona, you have to go to the Buffalo Chip.
Agreed.
It is the best place.
So 2019, we moved into our house. October of 2020, Cole's parents were like, hey, we're moving to Arizona. We're retired now. Like, we want to go get out of California. And we're like, okay. And they're like, do you want to buy our house? And me and Cole were like, well, yeah, it's like beautiful home on 40 some odd acres. Like, it was a house that Cole grew up in. And so we were just like, this is like an opportunity that we can't pass up. So we put our house on the market, and in December of 2020, the house actually burnt down, and 2 weeks later found out I was pregnant with Kaysen, and I was like, I am not raising my kids in this tiny ass little town with no family here. And so we literally came to Arizona, and we looked around at properties, and I drove by our lot, and there was this raggedy old sign. It said for sale. I called the number, and the guy was like, yep, it's for sale. Come look at it. And we closed escrow on it in March of 2021. And we moved in March of 2024. So,
oh my God, that took 3 years.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I also generaled this entire build. Pat on my back. Built the whole house without a contractor. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
And it hasn't broken or fallen down yet.
No, the shop did fall down.
That did happen. There are a few kinks in the house, but you know.
The shop did fall down, but that's a story for another day. We'll do like a house home build like episode, but I have a younger brother and a younger sister. My brother is
what about Chi-Chi?
Well, they can come next. I have siblings.
Okay.
My sister's 2 years younger than me, so she's 20. She'll be 25, and then Hunter's 2 years younger than her, so he's 23. He'll be 23 this year. Yeah. So 2 siblings. They both still live in California. My sister lives with my parents. My brother is engaged. And that's kind of it. I grew up going to the lake and going camping and pretty much doing all the same things that I do now. Like, literally living like my dream life. Like, I always wanted to be with someone who like wanted to have a boat, who wanted to go camping, who wanted to do all of the things. And I just feel like it's all so surreal, like experiencing it now. I have 2 golden retrievers, Chevy and Chevelle. I have my 2 kids who are quite literally the cutest things I've ever seen. They're with Grammy and Pa this weekend, and I'm actually really sad about it. The house is very, very quiet without them.
It's quite amazing. But I also sometimes, it's like the best birth control, but then also I'm like, damn, I hope my kid is that cute. Because they're so cute.
Collins is just something else.
Horse loving nene.
She is a horsey girl. Okay, give us some of your background.
All right. So I grew up, I said Petaluma earlier, but I grew up in Pengrove, which is even smaller than Petaluma. You might miss it if you blink. But I grew up in Pengrove with my mom, dad, and I have one older sister who's 7 years older than me. And so I pretty much grew up with 2 moms, if you get the drift. She has always been like an older sister, a mentor, a mom, someone I always looked up to, but I didn't really get away with a lot because I had 2 eyes at all times. 4 eyes.
So annoying.
4 eyes.
I'm the oldest, so it's like I don't have to.
But you also didn't
that.
get away with a lot.
No, my parents let me do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Like, my childhood was so structured and like strict, and then my brother and sister are just like wild and free. Could have parties at the house, drink alcohol, like
that was
do all of the
me.
things. Yeah.
So I grew up with them, and we were like, my parents are both very city people. My dad's from Wisconsin and my mom's from Marin. So that's why I'm a Packer fan, if you know.
I didn't know your dad was from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
What the heck? Is it all your family there?
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother story. There's an owl in this.
I literally heard that.
But yeah, so where was I going?
Packers fan.
Oh yeah, Packers fan.
My
Mom,
uncle
dad.
played for the Packers.
That's cool. My dad is a tennis pro, so he was on the circuit for a little bit. That's like, no shame plug. So I grew up with a tennis court, but I actually chose to play volleyball early on because it was during tennis season, and having your dad as your tennis coach is really tough when you're like 8 years old and he's signing you up for tournaments and you're like just trying to play with your friends. and there's a tennis court at your house, and he's like, the ball machine's on, get out there. So I played volleyball. Through high school, I played lots and lots of sports. And
did we ever play against each other? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I was probably better than you.
For sure. I played volleyball, softball,
I remember like watching you serve a volleyball, but I don't know if I like played against you or like.
I feel like we just went to each other's games. Like I remember watching you play like outdoors one time.
Yeah. I don't know. So I played softball, basketball, volleyball, and then once like I got into high school, it was kind of like you need to play club volleyball. And then by my junior year, I was like getting recruited, and my volleyball coach was like, you cannot play basketball anymore. And so I lied my entire junior year because I was like on varsity basketball and I loved it. And he was like, if you want to play on the 18s, like you have to quit basketball. And I like, also, if you know me, I'm a big people pleaser and I hate to tell people no. And so it was my basketball coach's 36th year of coaching, and he was retiring this year. We had the best team we've ever had, and I like just like couldn't say no to him. And so I was like, no, I'm not playing basketball to my volleyball coach. Like, absolutely not.
This is club volleyball you're
telling club
her?
volleyball,
Okay.
and then high school basketball. And I'll never forget because I was mortified. My club volleyball coach comes up to me with a piece of paper, like the newspaper. Do we even have those anymore? He goes, I don't really think I've ever heard of anyone with the last name Macis. And so this article says Maddie Macis scored X amount of points in the game last night. Did you play? And I was like, and I had never missed a volleyball practice for basketball. So, you know, I never got injured, and I played out my junior year. By senior year, I was like, okay, I can't afford to get injured. I got recruited to go play volleyball at Western Oregon University, which is like a D2 school, and it was like the best experience of my life. So at that point, I had just fully committed to volleyball. I was dating a guy that was going to Oregon, like went to Oregon State. He was a year older, so I kind of was like looking at Oregon because I was like, we're going to get married. It's going to be the best day of my life. So I chased a boy to Oregon, which don't do it. Don't do it.
I had good success chasing a boy.
Yeah, I don't. And so within
the story for another day.
So within the first 2 months of living in Oregon, me and this man broke up because when you get to college and you move out of Petaluma, you realize there's a lot of fish in the sea. And they were a lot bigger than Petaluma. So we broke up. I played all 4 years in Oregon, and I realized then that seasonal depression is a real thing. And I was like, I cannot wait till the day I get to get out of Oregon. And so my junior year, I met another guy who was from Arizona. And so by the time I graduated, I had already decided at this point, we had done a year of long distance and he was back in Arizona, that I was going to move to Arizona once I graduated. So I graduated with my degree in exercise science, knowing that I wanted to be a physical therapist since I was 14.
She's a doctor.
She's a doctor. She might not look like it. She might like to
she likes to rave too much.
Side, but she's a doctor. And so I graduated, moved here, and then COVID hit, and I was isolated in an apartment with this man that I didn't know anyone else really in Arizona at this time. So obviously we had to get a dog. So we got a dog, Mr. Murph. And through this time, I was doing Beachbody, and then I was applying to PT school. I got denied my first year, which really sucked because the cycle is like once a year. And PT school is 3 years. It's like your doctorate. So I got my 4 years of my bachelor's and then 3 years of my doctorate to finally become a physical therapist this last year. So obviously going through school was one of the hardest things I've ever done. And if you are in the healthcare system, you know that it is just very, very hard. Like, you work so many hours to not get paid, and you do other people's work with there's no like incentive. They're just like, you have to do this.
Like
so
when they ask you to like wipe people's asses and stuff.
Yeah, I signed up to be a physical therapist, and I wipe ass some days. Okay. But I did chose the life of working in inpatient rehab. So I graduated in this past June 2024. I took my exam in July. I accepted a full-time job right when I graduated, and then I started working at an inpatient rehab here in Scottsdale, which a lot of people get confused, but it's basically like a step down from a hospital. So these patients are more like stable, and they can actually like exercise, and so our job is to get them safe enough to be able to go home. Sometimes you have somebody that needs their ass wiped, and sometimes it's a broken hip and you're just getting them better. So there's a huge spectrum, which I like because I don't do well when I do the same thing every single day. Like, I need a lot of variety, or I'm like, bah, and get crazy. So yeah, I moved to Morgan's house in August, and that was the same month I started my job, and life has just been quite the roller coaster. But I feel like, you know, getting my footing and starting this pod is like, you know, a step in the right direction. I've been going back to therapy, and so this is another form of therapy. It's talking to you guys every week.
Really fun to just kind of sit and like debrief and like have other people who can like chime in and kind of like, I'm sure there's going to be good and bad all the time, but I'm like really excited. I think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, and Morgan can't wait to interrogate me on my dating life.
Maddie's dating life.
I'm such a good winker. Seductive. Before we end our first episode, we're going to finish with just a couple, like, not rapid fire questions, but like asking each other about each other. Okay. Morgan's going to go first.
Okay. Describe me in 3 words.
Feisty. I'm really not a great dictionary either.
I told you the dictionary. I'm not. You know, one time I slept, actually multiple times. Did you ever hear like if you slept with a dictionary under your phone, you would retain all of the information in it?
But maybe like hitting yourself with a textbook.
No, literally. I slept with a dictionary under my fucking pillow when I was like, I don't even know, maybe like in elementary school, because I was convinced that it would retain into my brain.
Okay, actually, I can't think of 3 words.
I told you.
Okay. I know what to describe you as, but 3 words isn't working.
If I was to go to jail, what would it be for?
Defending her friend and beating ass because she's
literally
listened to so much Sexy Red that she's like, curb stop. That's my best friend. If I was to go to jail, what would it be for?
God, I don't know. If you were to like call me and be like, I got arrested, what would be the first thing that comes to my mind? Like being like drunk in public or something. I could totally
being in public.
I could totally see like, Morgan, I need you to come bail me out. Like, I got arrested for being drunk in public
at a concert.
Yeah, 100%. That's what came to my mind. It was like a rave or something, or Stagecoach.
Yeah, and I was just like by the porta potty, but not on the porta potty, and I probably peed, and so I didn't want to wait in the line.
I could definitely see that.
I could see that.
Okay.
Morgan, what's your favorite quality about me? You really have to think that hard?
No, I'm not like good with words. Like, I don't know how to like put a good sentence like that together. Like, one of your favorite qualities is like like the way you are as a friend. Like, you're very supportive and like non-judgmental. Like, I don't know if that's like a quality though. Like,
yeah, I think like
it's like a good wording. Yeah. I feel like that.
I would say like my favorite quality about you is, one, you tell it how it is. No bullshit. I don't know if we're swearing on this podcast, but
yeah, for sure.
Okay, fuck it.
It is happy hour, by the way.
Cheers. But it'd be like the no bullshit side of like, I'm going to tell you how it is. I love you and take it with a grain of salt, but like, I'm not going to fluff it up just to make you feel good about yourself. Like, I want what's best for you, and this is what it is.
Yeah. I could take that as even a favorite quality of myself. Like, I take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah. I feel like I'm sinking into the chair.
These are the most comfortable chairs.
Thanks,
I got
Living
these
Spaces.
at Living Spaces. If you ever want to give us an ad, we'll keep it in these bad boys. Okay, what would be the worst part of swapping lives for the day? If you had to like wake up and meet me, what would be the worst part of your day?
Screaming kids.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming.
I mean, I think I would do better at it if I didn't have to listen to like screaming, whining adults all day.
Yeah.
But I think like waking up and just like, I want a thing of coffee. And it's like, Mom! And I'm like, oh my fucking
Mommy,
God.
I poop.
Mommy, Mom, I want a sandwich. I'm like, dude, it's 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, have a sip of water, okay?
Yeah, no.
So I think that
we drink juice and eat sandwiches for breakfast around here.
Yeah. What about me? What would be the worst part about swapping lives with me?
I would definitely have to go with the getting up before the sun rises. I keep telling Maddie she needs to find a different job that's more flexible for my schedule because I literally could not fathom having to get out of bed before the sun rises. Like, I am so thankful that I get to stay home and like be home with the kids in the morning and stuff. And I've tried to be an early riser, but it just does not work for me.
So I get up at 5:30 because I got to be out the door by 6:15 to work by
Yeah.
6:45. And when I first started like working, Morgan's like, yeah, just like make sure you like wake me up in the morning. And like, I'm going to start my day before the kids get up.
I tried.
I
like,
think
twice.
there's once or two times in 6 months that Morgan has gotten up at the same time.
I did get up one time and I came out here and I did make a cup of coffee and I sat down and turned the TV on, but I fell back asleep. Like, I'm just not a morning person. I never have been. Like, I literally remember in high school, like my mom waking me up for school, be like 5 minutes before I have to leave. She's like, get the fuck out of bed. You have to go to school. And I'm like, okay, Stacey, calm down.
Stacey. What would be the best part of those swiping lives with me?
Maybe
Swiping,
like getting
swapping.
to live like the different experience of life in general. Like, just different. I've had such a different last like 10 years of my life than you have. Like, I didn't get to experience college and like all of those things. I think it'd be really fun to like experience those types of things.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like having like a day-to-day job, I guess. I don't really think it'd be fun, but
It'd be a different experience.
it'd be a different experience. Like, just, I think it'd be cool to swap lives and like see how.
Well, you never like, I don't know, I think it was like a music video or something, but it was like, would you imagine just like swapping lives with a guy for a day?
Oh my god.
Like
Life
walking
would be
around with
so
a
fucking
dick.
easy.
Yeah. Like, oh, I'm just floating through life.
Yeah,
Life
like, no
happens
stress,
to
no
me.
worries.
Yeah.
Oh, the kids want a sandwich?
It's like
okay.
a kuna matata.
Yeah.
That's what it's like to be a man.
Easy. So easy. Okay,
What about mine?
what would be the best part of swapping lives with me for a day?
Being a MILF, I think. Like being 27 with 2 kids and being hot and like having the most beautiful house and a caring husband and the best in-laws and like
I do have the best in-laws in the entire universe.
yeah,
I
and
am so
like
lucky.
just being like, okay, like yeah, we're just gonna pack up the motorhome and go for the weekend. Like the flexibility that you guys have, I think is something that I truly want to get to in my life, because right now I have zero flexibility and I envy every day of it.
Yeah. It is really nice, and it's like something that doesn't even seem real some days. I'm like, how do we get to do this? But
Yeah.
my husband works his booty off to be able to provide all of the things that he does and run a business from a different state, which he's been
And I'm
gone
not
all
just living
week.
with Morgan because I want to be her, but I do love her.
We'll get into it another time why Maddie lives with us, but I'm sure you guys could catch on.
I think that's all our questions.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, do you got one?
your toxic trait. What is my toxic trait?
Making a cup of coffee and never finishing it.
No, literally today.
Literally never. There could be 3 cups around here right now. Like, I don't
No.
even know. This Olipop sitting here.
No,
It's
that's
probably,
Auntie Shelby's.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Probably still not finished because that's Shelby's toxic trait is opening something and not finishing it.
Today we went to Best Buy because we had to go get the SD cards for this, because this was all
'Cause
very
we're podcast
thrown
girls.
together today. But I literally saw the Ember cup that like heats up your coffee, and I was like, I would love this, but I would never fucking set the cup on the charger,
Yeah.
so it would never heat up my coffee because it would just never make
Yeah.
it to the thing.
What's my
okay.
toxic trait?
Ooh, I don't know.
I have a lot.
I really don't feel like you do.
Mm.
Toxic traits. What's like considered a toxic trait? Like, you don't do anything around here that's like bad. Like
Just
Maybe
in my
just,
whole life.
picking guys. Is that Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Maybe
mean, it's
that
your opinion.
is a toxic trait, but another thing for another day on another podcast.
Just a lover, not a fighter, everybody.
She is a lover, and that's the problem, is because I
see
am
the
a
good in
fighter.
everyone.
And
Actually,
I pick
that
out-
is like our thing. Is like
Yeah.
I am a lover and I will be like, no, it's great, it's fine, everything's great. And Morgan will be like, one thing. And she's like,
okay, it has not been one thing.
no, but I mean like not just with that person, but just in general. Like,
Agreed.
I mean, I feel like you trust everyone until something happens and like you're like, nope, cut out of my life. And I'm like, do you want a 352nd chance? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll jump right back in.
That's something that we're working on in therapy, though.
Yeah.
We are.
working on
Okay.
it.
Well, I'm so glad if you guys made it this far. Bless your heart. We
love
we're
you
gonna
guys.
finish our margs.
Cheers.
And
We'll
thank
see
you
you next
for coming
week.
to happy hour.
We'll see you next week on Happy Hour Unfiltered.